that changed the selection process, did go to referendum. But that decision, I would like to have an indication from council as to which it would prefer so that I can prepare the resolution. But that decision ultimately is with the legislature, and I guess as legislature, and as a practical matter with our senator and our representative. So that's the way it works.
But they can say in Nashville, they'll bring it back to the people, can they not?
Absolutely.
And I would like to say this, Kay, you voted on this 2001, you applaud, and matter of fact, you're the one that come up with the right decision here to get them really to vote on it. You were for the people that voted on this back then, and I don't understand why you changed your mind and just were kicking the people out here.
I'm not kicking the people out, Gene. If you go back and listen to the tapes from January 2001 and December 2000, you will hear a very strong debate on my part with Mayor John Johnson, who brought this to us, and with Bill Swan. I was for everything except the process that has put us in the situation that we are now. And that is the situation where I told Mayor Johnson at that time what was going to happen is that you're going to put the council at odds with the mayor at some particular point in time. I agreed with the idea of submitting applications, resumes to the MUS board, and that they would do a screening and send 3 names forward. I thought that was a good process. It gave them an opportunity to look at qualified individuals and be sure that they had a balance of individuals from backgrounds with finance, networking, experience in different areas, business, etc. And so what happened was, Mayor Johnson at that time said that what his reasoning for that particular one, and that was just one of many things that were going before the people, so the people just didn't vote on that one issue. They voted on, as you've listed here in the front, or somebody's listed them for you in the front, all the things that it addressed. But the one issue that I went into a debate with and over was that the mayor would select the name and give it to council, and council would have to approve it. As I was going to say, he said that was taking the politics out of it. I told him, I said, Mayor Johnson, you are only concentrating the politics. If the names come to council as is outlined in option number 1, and each one of the names has the opportunity to be presented to the council in any order that they may be, nominated by a council member and voted up or down until you have one that receives the majority vote. It's basically what it is. It's involving the entire council. When it comes to the mayor and the mayor only, and John had that situation happen one time, and the council voted not to approve, to disapprove the nominee that he presented to us. Mayor Johnson went back. He found out who council would support. He came back to the next meeting, presented a name that council voted on. He was willing to look at the will of council and look at the majority vote on council and listen to his council as to who they thought would be the best nominee. Realizing at that time that it was putting the council and the mayor at odds with each other, and that is not a good situation. But it's a democratic process that was set up, and he found as a result of that that it didn't work one time. But instead of going ahead and butting heads with the majority of council, and in order to ensure a progressive nature of the work of council and that the business of the city could go forward, he went back, assessed the situation, found a member that could be approved, and presented it to council, and it was approved unanimously. So that was, if you go back and listen to the tapes in December and January.
I got the minutes here, you know.
Well, the minutes don't give you the verbiage. The minutes are action minutes. But if you want all that, I'll be glad to dig it up. I asked Debbie for and Kathy Frank where the tapes are, and they are here in the building. I didn't think I was going to have to pull them out, but I did. I debated it very adamantly.
I just know you voted for it, you know, and it went to the people, you know.
I voted for it to go to the people, but I will tell you to the last minute that that part of it is not good. And that's not the only thing, Gene, that the people were voting on. They were voting to change the name from the Morristown Utility Commission to the Morristown Utility, what's that stand for? System. And to extend, and I thought expanding the board from 3 to 5 was a very good idea. Oh, yeah. And also to authorize the utility business, as George brought to us very appropriately, they can go forward and expand their services until, and John was a very progressive individual who saw that that was beneficial, and our citizens have certainly benefited from that. We even explored the opportunity at one time, and George and the board brought it to us, of going into the gas business, and had city meetings on that, and we backed, looked at that, we backed that, and we looked at the whole picture there, working with Atlas Energy, and decided that that was not an area we wanted to go, but we went to FiberNet. And as a result of FiberNet, we had a meeting with the individual from Chattanooga who came here. As George said, it's put us on the cutting edge. The idea, in fact, the fellow from Chattanooga, whose name escapes me right now, was very complimentary of Morristown, and we're just right behind Chattanooga and what they're doing, and we're now there to be able to draw people in. Where else can you come to a town that has an industrial park with all of the infrastructure in it, and now they have FiberNet, and then FiberNet is even upgraded so that they can service the industry that's here?
Nobody's questioned the job, Kay. I think you did a great job.
Well, I wanted to make sure, because we had some questions at the beginning of the meeting.
Before this council votes to change it, this has been going on for 10 years. You all haven't brought this in front of us in 10 years.
We have not ever had a situation where there has been a loggerhead, where someone has not been willing to look at the votes on council and look at what the will of council is, and look at democracy and the majority of the council, as John Johnson did. And he went back and found a candidate and brought it. We handled it in 2 meetings. Move on.
You don't think the people should be involved in this as far as voting?
I think people were involved. They wanted an open process, as Linda wrote here for you. They wanted an open process. Now, the process right now is not open because the mayor chooses to do what he wants to do, doesn't care what council thinks, and they wanted it to be a council decision. Now, if the names council want never get to council, it can't be a council decision. So this is all about democracy, and it is about openness. Right now, it's not open. Right now, it's a dictatorship process, and that's not what we were elected to do.
Councilmember, if you would please, your decorum should be somewhat more subdued than it is.
I'll work on that.
All right, thank you. It should be.
Well, anyway, let me finish up here, Kay. But I'm just going to tell you all, if this is going to go to the state, I'm sure y'all going to vote for it, okay? But we're allowed to go to the court, take a group, and speak to the different committees. Now, we will be there speaking on this. We do have a petition out, getting it signed, and we're just not going to sit by and let y'all kick 72% of the people out for voting.
Then let me ask you something, Jim. Then why can't we, you're saying we're 7 adults here, sit down and count? When I ran for office, the first thing that Mary Oak said a politician has to do is learn how to count.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, Mayor, you have 5 council members that would like to see you make a certain nomination, okay? And that's, Gene, you're exactly right. We wouldn't have to do this if we would look at this and look at the rule of democracy and the vote.
I'm not going, my constituents out there, I'm not going to give up on it. I'm backing them, 72% of the people, not 5 of you all.
No, that's not the process.
Y'all take the mayor's office away, you want to take the telephone away, solid waste, you want to take everything away. Y'all are acting like kids.
Gene, let's talk about this right here. What you're talking about is, let's don't talk about.
And I'm not illiterate, Kay. I can write a list, okay? You said somebody wrote
Let's
this
just be a little more civil towards each other.
She just acts like, somebody else made my list. I can write a list.
Well, then let's list the number of people, or number of votes it takes to approve something. And let's list the reasons why we can't look at that and say, like Mayor Johnson did. Who came up with this idea? You run it by, and then you come back, you talk to your council, and you find out what will work. That's what it's all about. And that doesn't involve 72% of people. That's what the process that we currently have outlines. So let's work with this process and make it work.
All right, any other comments? If not, I'll go ahead and make a comment on this. First off, Kay, Councilmember Center, at the beginning I was very clear that MUS does an excellent job. And I have no problems with what MUS does as far as their ability and how they're doing their job. There's a philosophical